My coach is here to pull me from this show because we're just halfway through because Steve Mariucci's going to pull a Bill O'Brien here on the show. How are you, Steve?
Good morning, Rich. How are we doing today?
What's the quickest you ever pulled a starting quarterback into a season, Steve?
Starting quarterback.
The first, because Bill O'Brien's done it 2 years in a row now where he's changed his guy halfway through the first game.
Jeez. Well, the first game, Rich, that I ever coached, I didn't have to pull Steve Young. He got a concussion from Warren Sapp in the second quarter. Boom, out. And I'm going, oh, geez, I came all the way here to San Francisco to see this. And then Jerry Rice got hurt about 3 plays later. But I don't remember pulling a starting quarterback. I don't want to say ever, but never in the first half.
So what goes through Bill O'Brien's mind where he can, or let's put it this way, doesn't that resonate within a locker room? If some guy goes all summer long, this is our guy, we're going in a battle with this guy, and all it takes is 30 minutes of adversity, and we're going to try something else?
Well, here's the deal. You change quarterbacks for several reasons. Sometimes it's like, all right, that's the last straw. He's out. I'm moving on. That doesn't seem to be the case with them. The other reason would be, okay, this guy's not doing it today. It's not his day. I need a spark. I need something to happen good to get the fans back in the game. See if we can change the course here a little bit. And I think that's what he did. Now, Tom Savage is not like he's been around for 12 years and starting in this league. He's a young guy, too. And so you saw DeAndre Hopkins, right?
Yeah, he said, I want Savage, and Deshaun Watson's from his school. So I heard that.
Yeah, so right then and there you say, well, first of all, this team is being good. DeAndre's being good about being a good teammate and supporting whoever's there, all right? But I think it was a good decision to make a change and see if they can get something going because that was Rich, let's face it, that was a different game, okay? That was a different deal down there with Houston. With Hurricane Harvey, with their lack of practice, canceling the preseason game, and the emotion, and it was unbelievable. And we all thought that would just carry over into a lopsided victory. Well, it didn't. And so, he just said, let's see if we can change our spark right here, and maybe Deshaun Watson can pull off a minor miracle and get us started here. But now he's got a decision to make, because Deshaun did some good things. He wasn't great either, but he ran a couple times for some yards. He did complete some passes. He did drive him in the end zone one time. So it's going to be interesting. He's non-committal right now, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he said that to the media, but he's made his decision now, right? I mean, you can't be non-committal on such a short week on Monday, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's made a decision. I think he's got to just kind of say how ready is Deshaun Watson, how much practice time, and that's what you and I don't know. We haven't been there watching practices. Is he ready to go win a game in a short week? If this were a bye week and you'd say, all right, I'm making a change, he's going to get 2 weeks of practice snaps, and that might be better for him to play well. But there's only a couple days of shorts practice. That's all you get. You get a little practice in shorts. And so he's got to decide, would we embarrass Deshaun Watson by not practicing enough against this other defense, or do we go with the guy who's got a little bit more experience under his belt?
What would you do?
I don't know. I don't know the kids, Rich. I mean, I don't want to dodge the question, but I don't know the kids well enough from practice and all that to say this guy's our future. I like Deshaun Watson. He was one of our Under Armour All-Americans, okay? I have a little bias, but he did show me enough. He's an exciting guy. We watched him against Alabama. He seems to have a little bit more upside to me.
Steve Mariucci, my compadre from NFL Game Day Morning, and he will be with me and the gang on Thursday night to kick off Week 2 between the Texans and the Bengals on NFL Network only, by the way. So what gives with Seattle's offense? Look, and the Giants' offense. I understand that Green Bay and Dallas played stout defensive games, but just seeing what you saw from these offenses, what concerns you, Steve?
Yeah, Rich, what I took from this first weekend was this is Herm Edwards. This is why we play the games. I saw some teams that we thought were going to be bad teams. Let's just call it like it is. I thought there was going to be some bad teams. The Browns, the Jags, the Bears. We thought that they're really developing in transition. They got a long way to go. They all played well, better than expected. And then we saw some really good teams really good teams, the Patriots, right? Seattle, the Giants, who else? Pittsburgh didn't play all that well. And you say, well, geez, what happened? You know, we thought they'd be awesome, and they weren't. And so Seattle's one of them. Seattle's a heck of a team. Now, you've been to Lambeau Field. That's a tough out for anybody to go in there. And I be quite honest with you, the Green Bay Packer defense was better than I thought it was going to be. And Aaron Rodgers didn't have a good game either. That was a kind of a defensive struggle, zeros at halftime. And those are the two winningest organizations in the National Football League, or in the National Football Conference since Russell's been in there. But yeah, Seattle really really struggled to move the ball. Russell Wilson was their leading rusher again.
Why do they always have problems on that side of the ball? It just
then Eddie Lacy didn't do a darn thing. He had 5 carries for 3 yards against the Packers. You thought he'd be like motivated to have a stellar game. Nothing. And so, you know, and then Rawls was out, right? Mm-hmm. I think they missed him.
That Carson kid's going to wind up with the job. So if I had to ask you which offense you think has the opportunity to rebound faster, Giants or Seattle, what's your answer, Steve?
Probably Seattle. Gosh. Well, you know, the Giants are missing Odell Beckham. That's a huge part of it, too. But where they struggle a little bit is with their offensive line. I don't know if it's good enough. And that comes along slowly. It's not like you just beam me up another lineman. That's Seattle's problem, too, that the Fant kid got hurt, their left tackle, remember, in the preseason, blew his knee out.
Yep.
So Tom Cable has always been, like, patching it up with that offensive line. I think we're learning. You know, we all play fantasy football, right? No, I don't. But fantasy football, well, and you learn about the skilled players in this league, right? The guys that score touchdowns. But the general fan doesn't really watch the offensive linemen. Well, we're finding out you better darn well have a good offensive line if you want to get things done, and Dallas is proving that every year. Dallas is drafted very well with that offensive line. Well, the Giants don't have a very good offensive line. Seattle's got just an okay offensive line, and boy, it starts there. If you want the quarterback to be any good, you better protect his butt.
Steve Mariucci, a couple more minutes with him. Steve, the coaching decision that I saw, number one, that made me scratch my head, and it's not because it didn't work out, was Mike Mularkey starting the season off with an onside kick. I mean, isn't oh
my God!
I couldn't look. I know it didn't work out, and had it worked out, we might be talking about, oh, there's Mularkey rolling the dice. Isn't he a genius? But what do you? A defensive unit that wants to show its championship quality with Dick LeBeau. You walk up to Dick LeBeau before the game and the defense and say, we're going onside. I mean, doesn't that leave a mark,
Hey,
Steve?
Dick LeBeau had his 80th birthday.
I know.
You saw that, right? The team had a little birthday party for him. 80th. I hope I lived that long. And he's the defensive coordinator over there. And so, remember Jack Del Rio did that last year in the first game? He went for 2. He said, heck with it.
Well, that's a different story. Is that
you're different? I mean, it's not the first play of the game, but it's like this. We're making a statement here. That this team is going to just, we're confident. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, fine. I'm confident that our defense will hold up. It's kind of like one of those things that a little bit arrogant that you say, I'm just doing it, and then see what happens. Sean Payton did it in the Super Bowl, but it didn't work out. Tennessee's probably going to win that division, though.
Well, I mean, because the Colts look absolutely dreadful. I mean,
oh boy.
I mean, I don't even know what Chuck Pagano does there. I wouldn't put Andrew Luck behind that line. Even if he gets to be 100%, I wouldn't do it.
I feel bad for Chuck, and he's a heck of a coach. But that roster, I'm looking at the roster. How many blue chip players do they have? How many kind of Pro Bowl kind of guys do they have on that team? The Rams just had their way with them, and the Rams. My hat's off to Sean McVay. I mean, geez, the Rams look like a real team.
Yeah, they did. And they didn't even have Aaron Donald out there and had a defensive hootenanny against the Colts. Before we let Steve go, ask him the poll question. Chris Brockman, go for it.
All right, Mooch, what's the biggest surprise from football week 1? Rams, highest scoring team in the league. Jags in first place. Giants and Seahawks combined for 0 touchdowns. Bengals shut out at home. Or Oklahoma beats Ohio State in college.
Oh, Baker Mayfield going to the O in the middle and sticking that flag in there, and then it was in the turf. Oh, is that crazy? What a great weekend, though, huh? So good to be back with all this stuff. Biggest surprise. Yeah, maybe Seattle and the Giants not scoring touchdowns.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
When you see Mayfield, do you see a pro quarterback, Steve?
Pardon me?
When you see Mayfield, do you see a professional National Football League successful quarterback when you see him?
Yes, and yes, and yes. This kid's got, he's, first of all, he's bigger than I thought he was, okay? I thought he was like a next Flutie, a little bit bigger, but he's 6'1", 220, and he's got some spunk now. He's got some grit, and he's going to play in the National Football League.
All right, Steve. You take care of yourself. I'll see you.
Hey, I'll see you soon, Rich.
We're moving on to Cincinnati, Steve.
On to Cincinnati.
You are going to go, right? You're going. You'll be there.
Oh,
right?
I'm going today. I'm so fired up, I can't wait.
No, that's not true. That's so false. That's hashtag
okay,
fake news.
All right, I'm going to go Wednesday.
All right, Steve. I hope you enjoyed watching my two lone wolves on game day morning. Be correct.
I hate when that happens, because we always hear about it. I heard about it already. I'm going to text the guys and tell them I heard about it on Monday already.
That's right. You'll hear about it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
I
next
know.
Sunday. And Saturday in the meeting. Take care, Mooch.
Bye.
Take care.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you liked some of that, get some more of that on the Rich Eisen Show app. Follow all the information you see right here on the Rich Eisen Show.